Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Mike Ayers, and I'm here with Mr. Lee Sembrano, and we are back with another actual special episode of Parental Composure.
Yes, we are. We have Mike and Jake here, and they are the authors of Lily and Timmy's super awesome, incredible COVID-19 B-Day.
I love it.
You got it right.
That's one of those book titles that you definitely have to look over and read really quick.
Yes.
How many words are in this title? What's going on here?
Absolutely. I actually had Mike, we did like a little preview on our Instagram page yesterday, and I'm like, I'm not even going to try and say all that.
I actually did get it wrong, so
Yeah, we did get it wrong. We
had
fixed
to throw
it.
Yeah, we kind of fixed it our way, but yeah.
I would love it if, like, as you're saying it, you look down at your hand and you've written it down on your hand. So we're looking at the Lily and Timmy super awesome. Yeah.
That's a good one. I should have done that.
Yeah.
Did that in school all the time, so.
Yeah. You're a cheater. You cheated
Yes,
in
okay,
school.
fine. No.
There
Okay.
it is,
My kids
everybody.
did not just
That's
hear that
why
right
we're
now.
here.
We already know you cheated in school. It's fine. We've already been through that
It's
episode.
common knowledge.
Yeah, we-
It's common knowledge.
It's called survival.
Exactly. Survival of the fittest. You won.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess, like, thank you for being with us, by the way. Thank you for making this possible. I know you guys have been, I mean, this happened really fast, I'm assuming. All of this, I mean, success, really. You guys have had a lot of success with the book. So to get started, we just want to...
First off, I'm going to say I'm honored.
I'm honored.
I at least
well.
might not say it, but I will say it. I am honored.
Oh well, we're no J.R.R. Tolkien, so wait till the interview is over. Before we go further.
Hey, not yet. You still have time, right?
You'll have some time.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
could make it up there with how things are going.
Yeah, Lily and Timmy's The Two Towers is coming up next. We start with this one, and then we add 400 pages to the next book, and people are like, "Wow, you guys actually just copied The Two Towers."
Hey, there's going to be a lot of information, a lot of stuff happening after this whole thing is over, if it ever ends.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I don't know. But yeah, so, I mean, we'd love to hear more about you guys and your background, how this came about, really. So definitely one of you let us know.
Mike, do you want me to go into it?
Why don't you go into it, because my thing's freezing up a little bit, so I'll wait for my thing to catch up. You go ahead and go for it.
I'm going to wait for my thing to catch up. Okay. So Mike and I have a background in film and TV production. We've always been in kind of the creative realm.
Cool.
Whether it be because we've worked on film scripts together. I've worked on a lot of movies. Actually, the last big one that I did, I was the stunt department manager on Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Whoa, how cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, what movie is that, Jake? Was that a big movie?
Huh?
Was that a big
I
movie?
mean, it was all right. It was kind of under the radar.
Who directed it?
No actor. There was no actors in it that anybody knew. That's for
Oh,
sure.
right.
Yeah. Who directed it, Jake?
It's not even worth saying because you don't even know his name. It's
I wouldn't know
pointless.
what it is.
No, it's pointless. He's some Italian guy. I can't remember his name actually, and I worked on the film. So yeah. Yeah. Who
That
knows?
must have been fun. So you were a stunt manager? Is that what?
Yeah, I was the stunt manager. My girlfriend Zoe was the stunt coordinator, so she was
Wow.
designing everything, and I was basically running the office. So I was hiring all the stunt people, doing the scheduling, all that kind of stuff. But Mike and I, we've done so many creative things together. Like we've worked on scripts, we've worked on TV pilots together. We also did like Nike conventions, Nike basketball conventions. Like we've kind of just been all over the realm.
Very cool.
And we often get together. I mean, when we were living in the same town, we were actually together. But on FaceTime for the past few months, we have just been going over just ideas, like outlines, because we always just kind of brainstorm together. And it's like, what about this idea? What about this? What about this? And we had originally come with that was very much not a children's book. It was kind of just a story about this family, but we're always kind of living in the dark comedy area, you know, like, yeah, like it's definitely for people our age or for parents, you know.
Sounds like a podcast.
Yeah, it sounds. Yeah,
exactly.
Jake, just to cut you off real fast, during Colorado Public Radio, Jake mentioned to the audience that it was the first thing that we've ever written that doesn't have profanity.
True. I think. Yeah, it's true.
Hey, that's all right.
Just cussing in it, but yeah. So we were writing this outline in the story, and we literally kind of looked at each other, and we were like, look at what we've written so far. First of all, number one, we've made these children. We've made Lily and Timmy, which that wasn't their names at the time, but we've made these children the leads in our film, our story, or whatever it was. We were like, so the children are the leads. And we were like, and second, the outline of this book, we're like, I think we're writing a children's book without even knowing. And then without even knowing. And then we kind of went back and forth, and very quickly we were like, so we've written this mom about our moms without even knowing that we were writing about our mom.
Aww.
The same with the dad. The dad is very much based on our fathers. And then we looked at the kids and we were like, are we writing a story about 6-year-old us's? Is that what's happening right now? You know, as we're like crying, we're like, it's 6-year-old us's. But yeah, so after that, we were like, okay, let's write this children's book. And we wrote the children's book in less than 2 days.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
How
That's
did
crazy.
that happen?
Because we had already written this outline. We had already started writing this story. But it came so easily that when we decided, okay, we are writing a children's book, it wasn't hard. The writing of the story was probably the easiest part of this whole endeavor. Mike will go into it because Mike was kind of the front runner who was dealing also with the illustrator, Frederico, who's absolutely amazing.
Yes, those illustrations.
But also,
great.
Mike will go into that too because Frederico gave us a time frame. And of course, because we're going against COVID-19, we're like, we need to get this out as fast as we can. So not to be like, so people are still stuck at their home, but it's like, so we can give families a story. We can give them a bit of escape because everybody's in lockdown and stuck at home. Like that was the whole, the idea was to give these people a half hour or 45 minutes where the family could kind of escape from real life and share some laughs together. So Mike will go into it, but the time frame for the illustrations were, we weren't sure if COVID-19 was even going to still be around. We didn't know at the time.
Yeah.
And Frederico, he cut it by 90%. The time frame. He was incredible. Mike has a better idea of the time frame with that stuff.
Yeah, we were super concerned that we actually wrote Lily and Timmy's super awesome COVID 20 B-Day. We wrote COVID 21 B-Day and COVID 22 B-Day just to get ahead of the curve.
Just in case.
Just in case.
That's good.
We're the only children's books writers that welcome pandemics.
Yeah.
We're like,
thrive on pandemics.
Jake, we're sitting at home. We see a pandemic starting in Portugal. We're like,
Time to write a book.
We're gonna make it stay over here. Do we have time to?
Nice.
Hey, dude, I totally just picture us on our computers, checking every 10 minutes on the news. Like, anything? Have you found anything? Any pandemics? Like, what? What is this?
You know what the next
You guys are-
topic may be, just because Lily and Timmy's super awesome, incredible. COVID-19, like we're looking for like more relevant topics, and because 2020 has been
one thing after another.
Such a chaotic mess.
Yeah.
You start looking into, well, what's next? And I saw this meme recently about Yellowstone, and this idea that there were all these earthquakes at Yellowstone, and that there's this super volcano. So it could be Lily and Timmy try to get away from a super volcano. But anyway,
no, that
Or they run from the killer hornets.
No idea. We have no idea how Lily get away from it.
There's so much content out there from 2020. You guys could just do a huge
movie
series.
Just do a movie.
Oh yeah. Going off of
well,
that.
Mike, what would you what would you say the topics would be for the film?
Yeah.
This episode's still rated PG-13. So I got to be really nice about this. But
yeah,
I mean, let's just start with the killer hornets. That's how you just start the movie. And Lily and Timmy are just running from them, and then they go into this next pandemic, and then dude, we can go on for days with this. You know that, right?
Yeah, so much.
So this take of Lily and Timmy is clearly an action drama, apparently, Mike.
Yeah, do you guys have any familiarity with that? I think you do. Stuntman manager over there.
Well, just reading y'all's story, Lily and Timmy were actually, they were pretty animated in that story.
Yeah.
Like when they were upset, it showed on their faces.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the great part about the illustrations was that the illustrations showed the emotions that whether it was being sad or being happy. Like me and Elise were talking about like how we can actually feel those emotions that you see in the illustrations to go along with the story.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean,
I think.
Do you want to do it, Mike? Or
I'll go for it. Yeah, I'll go for it. I don't want to step on your toes.
Yeah.
So the illustrations, like we wanted to create something that was real for children, right? Because you have this scenario where children are facing something that they've never faced before, and it had to be just so confusing. I can't imagine being a mom or a dad with young children in today's day and age, where let's say that children we're going to go see a movie or go to the park or what have you, and then parents have to tell them, oh, you remember all those birthday plans? Well, we can't do any of those things because we're sheltering in place. And that's why our book, like that's where our book picks up. It's the first day of shelter in place for this young family, and these children who just turned 6 were supposed to go to Disneyland for their birthday and they can't go. And the mom is faced with this scenario of what do I do? How do I deliver for my kid's birthday despite this pandemic? And so the first thing we wanted to do was connect with the children, and we didn't want to like steer away from emotions because children, it's okay for them to know about sadness. It's okay for them to know about disappointment. And I think that for us, we were writing a grounded children's book that reads more like a family sitcom, where we can start out with some humor and then drift into a low point. Because if we can go into a low point and connect with those children, then once we get to the high point, it rings true and it's more meaningful for them. So we wanted to convey this up and down of like there's a point in the book where the children are actually bargaining with the mom, and they're saying, well, we can't go to Disneyland, can we do this? And the mom is having to say no to everything. Can we do this? No. Can we do this? No. And the children are bargaining, and you see that they're just kind of happy, sad. Like every good idea that they have, they're happy because they think it's going to solve it, but it doesn't solve it. And there's some real disappointment in the book, but then we get to this ultimate culmination where mom, like a lot of superhero moms or even superhero dads out there, she saves the day in such a tremendous way. And her kids are just overjoyed with the final outcome. While during the whole time during the book, the father is like the pandemonium of coronavirus. Like he's the what not, like who not to be. Like he's absolutely the hysteria. He's not calm. He's not cool. Like meanwhile, mom is all of the great emotions, and the dad is just like a hypochondriac, doesn't even want to be near his children, trying to go buy all the hand sanitizer. So it was really fun for us to write it, but we didn't want to write a normal children's book. We wanted to create something that was true to our comedic backgrounds.
And and how and the amazing part about this book is that when Elise and I first read it, because we actually had it on the screen and we read it together, and my son Jackson, he's 4, he's actually a leap year baby. His birthday is February 29th. So this really played a big part, and I was like, hold on, this is just like, my household. Except for the dad part. The dad and mom part were kind of opposite. I was going to ask you guys about that, but, you guys already answered why it was the dad, because it reminds you of your own dads. But it's, it played out like I was just watching my own household. It was actually pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Because we had planned to do Jackson's birthdays, first week of March. And, we were planning on it, and then boom, all of a sudden this happened. And then, we were stuck, and he still hasn't had a birthday party since. I mean, for obvious reasons. But yeah, I mean, this book actually hit pretty close to home.
You guys did a really great job at like covering all the emotions. That's like the first thing that, I mean, we were talking about that when we were reading it, because it's like you do, as a parent, you can relate to that, like the kids getting excited and then excited, like having to like be the bummer news when it's like, as a parent, you just want them to have a great day. It's their birthday. And so I'm really glad that you guys didn't keep that out, because I think that's a big reason why a lot of people like your book, is because it does have the comedic relief, but at the same time it's reality of what's going on right now. So
the also amazing part is that the fact that they don't have kids.
I know.
And
I'm impressed.
they knew exactly how to do it. It was just, I'm amazed, honestly.
Yeah, I'm very impressed. Are you guys uncles? Do you have nieces and nephews?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the same, but you know what? That
that
answers why you guys were so good at it, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, but Jake, just to cut you off real fast, Jake. Just to cut you off real quick. I think it'd be hilarious if Jake's like, oh no, I don't have nieces or nephews. I just put on a wig and I just ask myself, what's it like to be a mom? And he's just sitting there with a lipstick.
Okay, where's the wig? Go grab it.
What are you talking about?
You're only half dressed for the interview.
Yeah, seriously.
Go get your mom pants on.
Go get my mom pants. Yeah, I come in with my quinceañera dress. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
No,
this is the bedrock of our relationship, by the way. It's just we're constantly throwing each other under the bus.
That's great.
It always, can we make the other person laugh? That's what it always is.
That's great.
Yeah.
So you guys did the book. Have you done any other projects together, like because Jake, we kind of went over your background, but what other projects have you guys done together other than the book?
Well, we did the book together. We did a TV pilot together that Mike created and wrote and was the lead in, and I directed. That actually did really well and was almost at that. It was right at the tipping point of getting launched by like a Fox or an NBC type of station. But another show that was very similar in concept got picked up, and it didn't even last a whole season. It lasted like 6 episodes, and Mike's would have been
sad.
way better.
It was pretty. Better. It was. This project, this other project, I co-created it with our Jake and I's mutual friend Mark, and this project is it's a workplace comedy around the regional airline business, and it's called Cockpit. And it was basically about these loser regional airline pilots and their day-to-day lives. It was kind of like if you were to take like the Office type environment and apply it to regional airlines, like that's what the show was. But it was shot, like the tone of it was more like an Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So we actually had worked with one of the story editors from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, who is based out of Atlanta. And so this project was years in the making. Like we had actually shot the pilot first with Jake, and then we went back to this other production company who helped us tighten up the script. And then we had shopped it to just about everybody, and Fox and USA and a bunch of networks really liked it. But then this other show, LA to Vegas, got picked up when ours was being shopped. And as soon as LA to Vegas got picked up by one of the majors, all of the other networks were like, okay, let's put this on the back burner, even though LA to Vegas, as much as they tried, and you know, there were some really smart people behind that, they couldn't make it work. I think that our story had a lot more heart, a lot more places to go, because it wasn't like that other show. It just felt more of like a gimmick, where ours was really relatable, because our friend Mark is actually a pilot, and at the time he was a regional airline pilot, so he was speaking from experience, which is where like all of the best content comes from, with exception to this book in which we are not parents.
I think it's hilarious that you guys weren't even planning on really making this, you know, and then it just it happened. And I think, would you say that that's a big part of success, is, you know, just doing things like just on a whim and intuitively kind of bouncing off of each other? Like, I mean, how did that all work? I mean, do you guys think that that was part of the success of the book? I mean,
I think when it comes down to that, it's the ability, and it's the ability of being able to recognize, because Mike and I have written hundreds of stories together, probably more than hundreds, because we just love writing silly stories together, or one of us will, oh my God, I just had the idea about this. And then there'll be like, you know, just a sentence, and it's like, okay. And then we'll jump on the phone and we'll just start hashing it out. And that was the thing. And again, like, we weren't trying to write a children's book initially, but I think it's, as I said before, like being at a place where you can creatively recognize what the possibility is. And that's what it was. We were reading the story, and we were like, because we could have easily been like, all right, let's write this story, and then not noticed what was going on. And we just kept pushing it to be like a dark comedy. And maybe we never would have written a book. It would have just ended up being another outline like the other hundreds of outlines we've done. But we were able to recognize and look at each other, and we're like, are we writing a children's book right now? And taking that and running with it is the big thing. And I think saying that about everything, it's like, so many people write things or have ideas or have this or have that, and it either doesn't compute of the possibilities of what to do with that concept, or they do compute, and they're like, oh, it could be a good show, it could be a story, it could be anything, but they don't move forward with it. And that was the thing, is when Mike and I kind of recognized what the possibility was with this story of being a children's book, we easily could have just written the rest and then actually not done anything, because we didn't know what it takes to write a children's book and then go to Amazon and then start selling it and do that. We didn't know any of that. So we could have been like, well, let's just write it, and then we'll stick it in the in the briefcase and let it sit there for a while and see what happens. But I've got to say this about Mike. Mike does not go that way. He's like, okay, I've like, he like writes me back after we're writing the story. He's like, all right, I'm looking into Amazon. I already know how we're going to write the book. I know how we're going to, the illustrations. I know how, like, he was on top of everything. And in reality, I was just kind of the guy in the passenger seat that was like writing the story with him. And then anytime he needed help with everything, just give me a call or text me and I'll do whatever needs to be done. But Mike was 85-90% of dealing with all the business part of this.
I will say this, guys. The reason why I pursued it aggressively is the reason why I pursued it so aggressively is because we have so few actual good ideas. very, very rare, because Jake, most of our ideas, like, they get left in the briefcase for a reason, right? Like,
there's a lot of
pretty bad ideas. They don't go past our specific genre of humor. Like, they're not mainstream at all. So all that I would say is that to the creators out there, if you have an idea that you can see front to back, like you see the front page and you see the last page and you see most of the stuff in between, you have to get that on the page like immediately, because that's a rare idea. And the other thing that I would say is that screw commercial viability. That was not something that was in our mind. Like, we always told ourselves, like, hey, we're going to write something that we love, and hopefully we can reach some type of broad appeal, but we are not going to try to have broad appeal. And the reason being is because if you're trying to catch the wave, like, you hear this with stock market, you hear it with business, you hear it with everything. If you're trying to catch the wave, you've already missed the wave. Mm-hmm. And so I told Jake, I said, Jake, we need to continue to create stuff that make us laugh, stuff that you and I are proud of. Because when we look back at this, we either wrote a generic children's book that everybody else wrote, or we wrote something that was unique to us, and then we can pick up at the end of the day and say, that was hilarious. We really did something groundbreaking. And that's what we felt that we did, because I really don't know any children's books that tackle such an adult issue like COVID-19. I've seen a couple of books out there that will talk about, like, how to tell your kids about coronavirus, like wash your hands, this, like dealing with the emotions of coronavirus, like stuff like that. Like, I've seen more educational resources, but I haven't seen a book that's tackled such an adult topic and found a way to teach young children about it in a comedic sitcom fashion, because it's a sitcom, but we're touching on the emotions. There's a little bit of education in there, but at its core, it's a comedy. But I like the fact that we did this, that we can make these grounded children's books, like this hybrid model between a children's book and a sitcom. And I like the possibilities that this opens up. Elise, I would love to do Murder Hornets. I don't know if we'll do that one. But we've had a whole list of ideas where we're like, hey, we could, at this point in time, because we have branded ourselves as this, we can tackle any topic that we want to and find a way to teach families about it and poke fun at it, make it funny, but also explore the realism of the issue. Because I don't think parents should be hiding behind coronavirus. Like, I don't know how that gets explained to children, but I think it's okay to say, hey, listen, grandma and grandpa could get more sick. Mm-hmm. Yep. You know, I think that we can tackle some of these things head on, and we try to do that. So it's difficult when you are exploring something that has never really been explored before, but I'm proud that we were able to do this. Yeah, you definitely should be. You guys really came up with a formula that works,
that you, like you said, you can take any scenario and make it the way that this book has been, which is great.
Yeah, in order to hit all those aspects within, I believe it was 35 pages. I mean, that's really good. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Every aspect of that, just in that short amount of space, and to bring along, like you said, the comedy of it, and the realization, like you just like basically put like all this stuff in just this small little box, and you were able to make it fit. So that
and it opens up. Sorry.
Oh no! I was just saying.
Go ahead.
I just didn't know if you were going to bring up the murder hornets again.
No more murder hornets, I promise.
Are we going around the murder hornets again?
We're going to ride those murder hornets.
Oh, yeah. We're going to hit it another 10 or 15 times. We'll get back into it. No, I was going to say, going off of what Mike said, we've had so many responses from parents who didn't know how to tell their children or really get their children to understand what COVID-19 was or what it means, or like to be like, okay, you can't go outside with your friends. Like Mike said, your grandparents can't come over because they might get sick. Parents were having a really hard time telling their children and making them understand. And we've had so many parents reach out to us since the book, and they were like, you have no idea how much you helped us explain and help our children understand of what's actually going on right now. Because again, it is still going on right now. So we're deep into it, and nobody has any idea how much longer this is going to go. So they were all kind of they didn't know how to explain it to their children. And I mean, that's what the book did. It wasn't like, it's an outline, everybody's get the outline and show your children. It was like, we were just glad that, again, the family could share some laughs together, but amongst the laughs and the connection with the family, there was also a way of describing what's actually happening in a way that the children could understand, you know?
Yes. I love the layers that you guys kind of did with it, because it's like you see the seriousness of it, but then you also see the dad in the background doing something funny, you know, or like relatable as a parent. So it's like you throw in the seriousness of it, but then you kind of have something in there in each page that's kind of like, oh, that's funny, you know, like, oh, as a parent, you know? So,
that's the thing. Going off, I remember I had said this, Mike and I have said this a few times. It's like we were trying to go the way of like Pixar or SpongeBob, where parents will watch a Pixar film, but there is very much parts of those Pixar films that are totally for the parents. They're jokes children could never understand, or they're concepts that they could never understand. And the same with SpongeBob. I remember I was randomly watching a SpongeBob the first time, SpongeBob SquarePants, and I was sitting there with, like, I think she was 3 at the time, my niece, and we were sitting there watching it, and he started doing jokes and references, and I was like, what? He literally made a reference to Big Trouble in Little China, which is like one of my favorite movies ever that no one knows. And I'm like watching it, and he did the reference, and I'm like, I like look down at the kid, and I'm like looking around, I'm like, was that for me? Did he do that for me? I'm like, oh my God. Yes. And it's the same with Pixar. There's so many jokes and little things spread out between Pixar films. You're like, oh, this is for the parents. And that's why I go see Pixar film. I don't have any kids, and I go by myself all the time to the theater to watch Pixar films because I love them. And there's always I love it. And there's always a connection and a relation, and and that's what we were trying to do with this, is helping parents explain to their children what the heck is going on.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, just after reading it, you know, I actually thought to myself, like, wow, I could have actually just explained this whole COVID-19 thing a lot better, you know, just after reading this than I actually did.
It's true.
Because actually, now that I think about it, I was kind of dramatic about the whole thing, you know what I mean, to my kids. And I was scared about freaking them out. And, you know,
Yeah.
And
it's almost easier not to talk about it. Like, oh, this is just what's going on, because it is a heavy subject. But you guys with your book have kind of made it so that it opens up the opportunity for parents to talk to kids. And it involves a birthday. So, I mean,
that's probably the best way.
That's the best way to do it, you know?
Yeah.
So, great job. Great job. And also, if you guys continue to do this, you're going to have to come back on our show, because we're going to need to keep up on the series.
Oh, absolutely.
We will definitely fill you guys in. We're probably thinking around September, maybe a little bit sooner, but I think the next one, depending like how this one pans out, I think September. But Jake kind of alluded to this before, and you guys actually touched on this, like the movie format. We really see our book, like the way that these images like come across. Like if you look at this picture here, this is nothing more than that's nothing more than like a storyboard, really. Like this could be a storyboard for a cartoon. And the more that Jake and I have spoke about it, we do have a lot of connections, and we feel like we don't even need to write a pilot episode for this. We can just give them the book and say, hey, here you go. Here's the pilot episode. Read it. Like, trust us that we can write, because we'd have to write some more jokes around it and stuff like that for an actual TV pilot, because a TV pilot, typically it's a little bit longer. It's like 30 to 40 pages. This doesn't have like all the scene description and stuff like that, but we could take this to a studio and say, hey, we want to write a story about a young family post-coronavirus, a young mixed family post-coronavirus, because the mom is actually Latina.
Nice.
And we want to create a book that is incredibly inclusive. Like we don't like the negativity that we're seeing in the news today. Like I don't know if you guys
100%.
noticed, but the father, who is sort of like a libertarian, zany white guy, he gets his news from an African-American reporter. It's his favorite news reporter. The children, they have a diverse group of friends. So we're trying to promote diversity. We're trying to give families, all different types of families with young children, like typically like from ages, I'd say 4 to, how high would you guys say? Maybe 10 years old?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna have my 10-year-old actually read it tonight. So, yeah.
Yep.
At the least 10 stuff.
Let us know how that goes. One of our friends who helped us with the our press release, she's Australian, and she actually lives in Sydney. One of her old primary school teachers bought the book and read it to a bunch of 10 and 11-year-olds, and they said that they loved it. And originally, Jake and I thought, well, this is a book for 4 to 8-year-olds. And then after hearing about these people that like they're 10 years old, we're like, okay, I guess the jokes are such that since the jokes are elevated, it's okay that it focuses on 2 6-year-olds, because dad is so funny and because the topics are a little bit elevated. So we really think it's probably for children 4 to 10, or maybe even 4 to 11. We're still trying to figure that out.
Yeah, definitely. I think that you guys have hit it right on. And before we end, because we are going to need to get going soon, I do want to be able to like show some of your...
Told you this.
You'll be back.
This could last all day, man.
You can come back
you.
next week.
We can't leave. We haven't covered the killer hornets yet.
Yeah, and
we
there
have a lot
it
of
goes.
great
It came back
ideas
around.
we could share with you guys.
There it is.
No, but definitely we want to kind of cover a few of the pages. Let me see the page number. So let's start with just page 1. Like just the very beginning, and it kind of sets the stage for everything.
The emotions on all 4 of them.
Yes.
It's just...
Josh, oh, thanks.
I mean,
Yeah. The
first
sweat
person that
coming
the first person that caught my eye was Dad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, here we go.
Biting the nails, the sweat dripping from his forehead.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh,
And
man.
Yeah, so that picture, Sorry, Jake. Yeah, so that picture, we wanted to set the stage. Like you see the reporter in the corner of the screen, you can see like a virus that says COVID-19. We picture like this is the dad's, like, this is how he wakes up. He wakes up, he watches the news. I know a lot of families can relate to that. Like my family especially, where it's like, hey, quiet down, I'm watching the news. Like that was my family. Yep. So the dad's watching the news. The kids are all excited running down the stairs because they think they're going to Disney. And we're setting the stage. The mom is mildly concerned. The dad is immensely concerned. And the children, they don't know yet. So we're just setting the stage there. Jake, do you want to jump in?
I mean, no, dude, that's pretty much it. I'm looking at this picture again. And that's kind of the dad, I think you said it, Mike, is that's kind of the dad in every illustration. Is the kids are like, what's happening, and the mom's like, okay, I'm gonna save the day, and the dad's like, nope, stay away from me, I'm yeah, he's in his complete own world of trying to save the day in his mind, you know.
Yes. And I think one of my favorites too is
yes, please.
Can you pull up page 18?
Because my wife actually made me do this too.
Oh yeah.
When all this started.
Mike and I are very, very proud of this one.
This was a great setting.
Yeah, when all this started, I had to do the exact same thing. Like
Kristen made you.
Kristen made me take my clothes off and go put it straight into the washer. I had to go take a shower, and the kids are looking at me like, "What's wrong with Dad?"
Yeah, what's going on with
Dad? Did your wife tell you to burn, or did you tell your wife that you wanted to burn the clothes that you had just taken off?
Well, no, because in the household, it was actually, opposite. I was how the mom is, and then my wife is actually how the dad is. So,
So she was making you take off your clothes. It wasn't like you wanted to really.
Yeah. She was like, no, when you walk in the door, you take off your clothes and go.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not touching them. I'm gonna put them you go put them in the washer.
That's awesome.
Put them in the bag.
So your wife actually had the rubber gloves on. So you're coming up, she's got the rubber gloves on. She's got the
bleach in her hand. Yeah, she had the bleach in her hand.
Yeah,
that's good. Oh, can we show page 28 too?
Yeah, whatever you show.
Okay. This gave me all the feels.
Oh yeah, this was
with the dad even holding up the 6 feet sign.
Yeah.
6 feet, even though you're outside. Out.
I love that the dad has the 6 feet sign, and then on his left arm he's pointing at it like, "Hey, look at the sign! Look at."
Yes, even though there's a window in between both of them, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, that's good.
Picture the dad kind of like that Will Ferrell sketch. Like I don't know if you guys saw the Will Ferrell sketch.
Oh yeah.
Where he auditioned for Saturday Night Live, and he's basically doing the sketch, just pantomiming everything, and he's pretending to grill hamburgers.
Oh, we definitely gotta check that one out.
And he's yelling at his kids. Like he's just having a conversation, like, yeah. Like, so what did you guys do this weekend? Hey, kids, get off the shed. And then of course he just starts yelling more and more. He's like, hey, get off the shed. That's how this dad is.
We definitely gotta check that one out.
I know, that's so relatable. I would be saying the same exact thing.
Oh yeah.
That's good. All right, we'll end with page 28.
Oh. That makes me so happy.
I'm sorry, not page 28. 21. Oh. 21.
How mom is the hero.
Yes.
Of course, Elise wanted to see that one.
Whatever. No, I do love how the mom is the hero in the story. I mean, I can't lie.
Mom saves the day.
She saves the day. I mean, moms need to know that that's recognized.
They're powerful.
That's a lot of work.
Gosh, you really got to make me look so bad.
Yeah. Dads are useless, and we all know it.
Jeez.
We all know it.
Great job on the, on the infringement part, though.
Oh yeah, those are good.
Those are great.
Those are
Way
funny.
to throw that in there and just because my kid definitely won't get it. So
Yeah,
I got it.
Yeah.
Those are the little parental jokes that we sprinkle throughout.
Yep.
And just to end on my opinion, one of the biggest reasons why I love the book is because you honestly don't have to have a story in there. Like these images, the illustrations just tell it all.
Yeah.
Just from the first page to the last page, and it tells it all. But of course, it is the humor inside this story is really what made it. So.
Yeah. And you guys did a great job with, it's Frederico, right? That's his name, the illustrator? Yeah, you guys, I mean, the wording that you guys put in the book along with the illustrations really, I don't know what's the word.
Yeah, Mom didn't save the day today.
They complement. Thank you. They complement each other very well. Yeah. And great job. I just can't believe that this all came together so easy. I mean, it does happen. I think when things are meant to be, they kind of just seem to flow the way that they seem to have for you guys. And so it started off as an ebook, but just recently you guys got the paperback, right?
Jake, literally recently.
Yes, yeah, recently, right?
Jake literally just got his book.
Oh yeah, that's true.
There it is.
Yes. So it is, and it's only available on Amazon, right? It's on Amazon right now for both the Kindle. Oh, I said ebook. It's Kindle and
it is for all devices. So as long as you have the Kindle app, which is free, you can download the ebook to any device. Like typically people have to buy the ebook off of a laptop or a PC for whatever reason from Amazon. But with the paperback, you can actually just go to Amazon and from your phone, iPads, whatever tablet or device you have, you can actually just buy it now with one click. And then it should ship to whomever within about 2 to 3 days. It's actually pretty awesome. We're doing an on-demand print service. So as soon as the customer buys it, Amazon prints it right then and there.
Nice.
And then it gets shipped. So it's actually a pretty cool process.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So all of our listeners out there, definitely go check it out. And it's definitely popular because the minute you start typing it in Amazon like knows that you're typing in Lily and
That is true.
I mean, it did pop up right away. So, I mean, that's great. Yeah.
I will be getting my paperback copy, though.
Yeah. Well,
I have the digital copy, but I will be getting the paperback copy, too.
Yes.
You gotta get the paperback. It's gotta be on the nightstand, man. It's gotta be on the nightstand.
Yes. Yep. And we'll have all your we have all the links that you guys sent us. So we'll have all those in the description below. And your website, I have it right here, lilyandtimmy.com. So if people are interested, they can go to your website. You have a Facebook page, and all of that will be in the description. So thank you both so much.
Greatly appreciate it.
For making this happen. And we appreciate you coming on. And
I'm honored.
I'm honored as well.
Hey, we're honored.
We are, exactly.
And we can't wait to see what you guys have next. I know it's going to be good. I know it's going to be great. So
please reach out so we can collab. Please. Yes. That would be so awesome.
We will, for sure.
You've
Thank
already
you,
gave us the theme with the Hornets. So it's a Hornet.
Had to throw that zinger in there.
Yes.
Yeah. I gotta finish with the Hornets.
Nice.
Well, thanks, guys. Greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And we'll see you guys next time. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
I love that.
Thank you.
All right.